welcome back. So this video is in continuation to the series that I had made previously with one of my friends regarding the higher studies in US. So today we have with us Mayank Gupta, who is currently working as a software engineer at Amazon. So he has pursued his masters from University of Southern California. So before we get started, Mayank, so why don't you introduce yourself and we can get started with the common questions that people usually have.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Hi, Rahul.
Hello.
So I am Mayank Gupta, as Rahul already told, and I did my undergrad from Delhi College of Engineering, DTU, in 2017. And after that, I worked for 2 years at Samsung Research in Bangalore, in India. And after that, I decided to go for my master's, and I studied at University of Southern California in LA. And currently, I have started working in Seattle at Amazon.
Okay. Thanks, Mayank. Yeah. So that was a good introduction. So let's get started with the questions. So, like one of the common questions that I usually ask all my MS, like all my friends who have done their masters, right? So, like, what are the motivational factors one basically has while thinking of pursuing masters? One can have different reasons, but like I have seen people who are just thinking of doing masters for the sole reason that they want to settle in US. So, is this reason sufficient enough or good enough for doing these higher studies, or like one has to have a different reason altogether? And what was the case in your case as well?
Sure. Yeah, so like in the US, like when you decide on pursuing your master's, it's a big decision.
Yeah.
So when you decide, it can be like either of these things. It could be that you are interested in research work, so you look for universities which are research oriented and which will help you grow further in your research oriented goals.
Okay.
Other options which people pursue masters is because of working in a foreign country, and like US being like the hub of software industry,
Correct.
it has like a plethora of opportunities in software industry. So another reason is that, and of course, like as you told, many people also want or dream of staying forever in the US. So there are multiple reasons which people consider while going for a master's. But like for me, it was basically that I was working already as like at Samsung. So for me, I came to the US a year before, and like I visited my brother here. He was already working here. So I interacted with lots of his friends who were already working, and I got to know that they were really working on some really good stuff. Like in India, I have always heard and I myself experienced that we were working on not those cutting edge technologies, which I felt that we often get the outsourced work in India.
Correct.
So I wanted to experience, like, is it really true that in the US or in the headquarters of different companies, is the cutting edge technology actually being worked upon? So I wanted to experience that. So I thought that there are two options for me. Either I go directly to Amazon and then work there for some time and then try to come here after 3 to 4 years, or the other fastest option for me was going for a master's. So that's why I decided to go for a master's.
Okay.
And yeah, that
Okay.
was the prime reason for me.
Okay. I guess like this is a good valid reason to pursue masters compared to the other people, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like
Yeah.
because considering that you will be staying here forever, that's not completely in your hands. It's like lottery based system they have in their H1Bs.
Okay.
So it's not completely reliant on you. That even if you do everything right, it's not guaranteed that you will be getting to stay here forever.
Okay.
So
Correct.
that should not be the sole reason for coming here.
Okay. Correct.
Yeah.
And one more thing, so like when I'm thinking of suppose pursuing higher studies, so like why pursue masters from just US? Like I guess there are multiple options doing masters from Canada or maybe some European nations like Germany as well, right? So what is the difference between those colleges or countries as well? Like if you are a bit aware of that.
Yeah, sure. So like I'm not much aware about European countries, but like I can tell you about Canada. So I didn't consider Canada at all because for me, like software industry is directly inclined to United States. So if I'm going and wanted to explore a cutting edge technology, then Canada would be the same as India for me. You'll be getting outsourced work there as well.
Correct.
So I want to directly work on like at the company's headquarters and at the place where all the action is happening. So for me, that was the reason. People choose Canada often because the process of permanent residency is very easy there compared to the United States. So the people who are sure that they have to stay in Canada, they basically go and decide on Canada. And like another reason is that the pay packages and the number of opportunities, they are like, there's a vast difference in the number of opportunities and the pay scale between United States and Canada. So like you won't be able to save that much, and you won't be able to like live that luxury in Canada given the same amount of salary. And like many of my friends, they didn't really get as many opportunities as you would get in the United States. So that's why like I feel that US is obviously a better option any day than Canada.
Okay, got it. So coming back to the US universities, so like during your time, I guess you had pursued masters in 2019, right?
Yeah, like I started in 2019.
2019. Okay. So at that particular time, like which all universities you had applied to, and what was the process you went through during that time?
Sure. So I applied to around 13 universities: Stanford, UCLA, UC San Diego, USC, ASU, Stony Brook, Texas A&M College Station, Columbia, Georgia Tech, and like CMU, and I don't remember like every university, but like these were the most of them. So the process remains very similar throughout for all the universities. You need some LORs, some statement of purposes SOPs, and you need your GREs, your TOEFL scores, and your transcript from your college. And yeah, I think it's pretty much the same for each of the universities. Just that the deadlines are different for each of them.
Okay. And how much is the relevance of your graduation scores? Like if I'm a student who doesn't have that much graduation scores, right? So will it impact my chances of getting admissions?
Yeah, so like I think this is my personal opinion, but like I feel that your GPA matters a lot, and the universities, since they receive like lakhs of applications every year,
Okay.
I think they definitely apply a filter on your GPA because otherwise it would be very difficult for them to like look through each and every application.
Correct.
So if you are low on your GPA, it's very rare that you would end up getting a like ambitious admit. So I think GPA plays a very big role, and most of the universities here, they don't like they consider the brand value of your college, but they aren't usually aware much about like colleges except IITs. So it's like what I felt is it's completely like IITs versus non-IITs.
Okay.
So if you're from an IIT and you have like still a decent GPA, there's still a chance for you. But like for non-IITs, like I think mostly GPA matters a lot.
So all colleges for them, apart from IITs, are like more or less same only.
I think more or less the same, unless they have some specific criteria per university. Like I know that DTU and NSIT, they have a great reputation in Columbia University. So people often end up getting admits from there. So there are some like similarly there are like other colleges as well which have some reputation at some foreign universities. So they will obviously consider those universities first.
Okay. So suppose like I have a decent GPA in my college and I've got my GRE and TOEFL scores and everything. So like how do you decide which all universities one should apply to? Like what all factors I need to consider? You need to divide the universities into some categories that these are the universities that I will definitely get an admission into, right? So how did you do that in your case?
Yeah, so like that's a really important step before going forward in your application process. So what happens is that like there are like you when you apply for your GRE and your TOEFL, you get your scores. So that's the point when you should decide like what all universities you will be applying for. Even like you should consider that before going for an exam, because in the exam you have an option for sending your scores to 3 or 4 universities at free of cost. So you should already decide that if I get a score in this range, I'll be applying for these universities. If I get a score in this range, I'll be sending my scores to these universities basically.
Okay.
So it should be decided beforehand, and the criteria should be like there are like lots of applications online. Like there is Jocket app, which gives you an option of choosing. Like it takes in your parameters, like GPA and other stuff, and based on that, it would recommend you what are your safe universities, the moderate and the ambitious ones.
Okay.
So that's one of the factors, and there is another website called Grad Cafe, wherein you can look at your like the past admits, the people who got them.
Okay.
So and like there are lots of Facebook groups when you can check the past year admits and age your profile accordingly as per the admit the previous year people got, and it pretty much remains the same. So based on that, you can decide. And also, like there are other factors like if weather is a concern for you, or if you want to stay in California. So like these criteria are additional, and the fees these are in additional to the above ones based on deciding your university. Yeah.
Okay.
And so you should categorize them in your safe, moderate, and ambitious, and then apply for them. Yeah. Basically.
Okay. So previously you had mentioned the LOR and SOPs thing. So I guess after COVID situation, so like the importance of LORs and SOPs has increased a bit compared to GRE and TOEFL, if I'm not wrong. So like how does like one prepare for LORs and SOPs? Like if I'm a working professional, from where do I get my LORs? So do I need to get it from the college professors, or can I get it from my managers at my current organization as well? So like how is it, and what is the template used to prepare the SOPs as well?
Sure. So like most of the universities, they have requirement of 3 LORs.
Okay.
So ideally they should be from the academia, like from your professors and all. But since you have been working, so it gets a bit difficult to get 3 letter of recommendations from the professor, from your college professors. So in that case, you can like get 2 from your university and 1 from your manager or some senior person who has already pursued masters in the US.
Okay.
Like you should obviously select a person who has like who can give you an LOR and who has some good credentials on his resume, which would help uh, them would help the universities basically
Okay.
portray you in a good position.
So they really
So
check the background of the professor or
yeah,
the
like they have certain set of professors. Like obviously, like the universities in the US and India, they have like the professors are collaborating on research. So like some professors at CMU or Stanford, they are obviously collaborating with professors from IISc, triple ITs, and IIT Bombay's. So if you have LORs from these professors, uh, they have a recognition of these professors that yeah, this professor is really good. We have worked with him. If he is recommending, that means the person is really good.
Okay.
So try to get these kind of good LORs. So these can be from your internships, the research assistantship, the research internships that you did during your undergrad, or maybe from your college itself. If you worked under some professor, you can obviously take those kind of LORs. And regarding statement of purposes, that's a really big part of your application, and that should not be considered lightly. And people often end up spending like over a month writing their statement of purpose, and like you have to write one first the initial draft, and then you iterate it through someone who has already gone, and he's already pursuing like maybe someone of your senior, some of your friends who are already pursuing the masters and who have got good admits. So you get them reviewed by multiple people, and based on them you work around on multiple iterations of your SOPs, and then your final SOP gets ready. So yeah, and like you can obviously use templates on latex, which is really good while making your SOP. So yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess these were the questions related to the preparation part and other ones. So coming to the other topics, which are not may not be directly related to the preparation, but are I guess equally important, right? So like I have got the admits from a couple of universities. So like I need to prepare for visa questions as well, right? So how does one can get visa slots, and like at what time of the year one needs to apply? And I guess like there is visa interview as well, like which is more or less like an HR interview. Like it's a more or less a rejection round, not an acceptance round. Like you don't have to say anything wrong that may ruin your chances of getting an visa, right?
Yeah.
So how does one prepare for those small visa interview experiences?
Yeah, sure. So like it's simply a very simple interview. Like people get scared because there are stories of people getting rejections during their
Hmm.
visas. But like if you are like not saying anything stupid to them, like so the four most important things are like you should like tell your personal details should be correct. If you
Correct.
are telling, like I have seen people who have like who got nervous and they started telling their personal details as incorrect, like they told their date of birth as incorrect. So if that's
Yeah.
the case, you obviously can't expect them to give you a visa, right?
Correct.
So like you should not be nervous. You should make sure that your personal details that you are telling, that's correct. And people often end up hiding their details. Like if you have some of your relative who is already there in the US, people feel that okay, I'll not tell that uh, because if I tell them, they'll consider that I'll not come back to India and I'll stay there. So but they have, most of the times they have their records.
Correct.
And if you are telling a lie, they can detect. So like in
Mm-hmm.
my case, I had my real brother. He was working in the United States. So I told them just, yeah, my brother is in the States and he's working on this position. He's working in this company. So, and they were able to validate all that information. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, the interview became very smooth after that because they didn't even ask me any financial questions that who will be funding your education,
Okay.
because they were pretty sure that if he has someone who is already working there and he's earning a lot, so there's no need to worry about the financial aspect.
Correct. Correct.
So don't need to hide your details.
Mm-hmm.
And regarding preparation, just prepare the basics. Like there are lots of questions online. Just go through them one day before your interview, and carry all your documents, irrespective. Like the bare minimum is what all they have mentioned. In addition to that, be prepared to carry another set of documents which might be handy there.
Okay.
Yeah, and like everything goes really smooth after that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you mentioned that expenditure part. So in your case, it was your brother who had funded your education, right?
Yeah.
So like, what is the overall expenditure on an average basis? Like I guess like it's university dependent a lot. So in your case, what was the expenditure? And if someone wants to pursue masters in a university that is very off, that has very high tuition fee or something, and I want to earn simultaneously as well to uh, get some of my loan getting removed quickly, right? So in that case, like what are the ways in which I can earn while studying?
Sure, sure. So for me, the overall tuition expense that I paid was around $65,000 for the
Okay.
entire course duration. Uh, and like then I had some like the rent, the monthly rent that I had to pay, and like other monthly expenses that I had, they were separate from that. So that was around like $1,000 per month. Around $20,000 extra
Okay.
for the entire duration. So and yeah, if you want to work during your
Yes.
like your studies, there are lots of options here in the universities. So you can get research assistantships, you can get teaching assistantships. Then there are lots of other on-campus jobs. Like they require like student workers for each and every position. Like most of the time students are working on a lot of things. It can be like recording a video lecture that's going on, so that can be a demo, or like that can be shown to the online uh, program they have. Or it can be something around like grading a course. So and so like there are lots and lots of opportunities for students to work, and the pay is obviously different for each of the for each of the uh, job position, and based on the location as well. So
Okay.
but like they obviously pay you a basic the base pay, that is the minimum pay for each state. So for California, that's around $15 per hour, and this would definitely help you live through your college life.
Mhm.
Like it will help you with your rent, monthly rent, and your personal expenses.
Okay.
That part can be taken off with the on-campus jobs.
Okay.
But if you need to waive off your loans quickly, you should try to look for as many internships that you can do. So I think you can't start before your summer semester.
Okay.
So try to do a good internship during a summer. That would cover a lot of your tuition. And after that, try to do co-ops so that you work for around 4 months, and that would cover another good amount of your tuition fees.
Okay.
Apart from that, you can obviously simultaneously work on campus. So
Okay.
just keep in mind, you can, in addition to your co-op, you can also work on campus. So that's another source of additional income.
Okay. So you mentioned one can definitely pursue research and assistantship and teaching assistantship, right? But I have heard that like it is very difficult for people pursuing masters to get those RAs and TAs because professors usually prefer PhD students or someone else for that position. So like if I am really want to get that position, like because if I'm not that financially sound, right? So I don't want to work part time because I guess the salary difference between RATA and that of a part-time worker is very much, right?
Yeah.
So how what are the steps that one can take? Like, do I need to approach that professor beforehand to get that RA or TA position? Like, how is it?
Yeah, so like this thing basically varies according to the university. So there are universities like Texas A&M, in which like professor, like the batch size is really small. So people, they approach the professors even before coming to the states. So
Okay.
they send out their resume, their research work that they have done, and this way the professor is able to select you for the research assistantship position if he feels that his research aligns with whatever you have worked on and
Okay.
you have some experience working on that.
Okay.
So try to find professors who have like similar research experience as you have, as the things you have worked on. So that would increase your chance for research assistantships. And in USC, I think the research assistantships were mostly reserved for PhD candidates or very few undergrads. But you obviously had opportunities for teaching assistantships,
Okay.
and that comes after the first year. So if you score a perfect 4 GPA in your first year, in your first semester, and a 3.9 GPA throughout your first year, then you are eligible for teaching assistantship roles
Okay.
from the next year onwards.
Okay.
And that would cover a lot of your tuition. Like the tuition is free. You get in addition $25 per hour for $20 for 20 hours per week. And in addition, you have your insurance covered, and lots of other things are covered with your teaching assistantships. So that way you can cover a lot of your tuition and
Okay.
without paying anything.
I guess the seats for TAs and RAs are limited as well, right? So you have to be a bit of proactive while.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, right. Okay.
Yeah, so just focus on good research if you
Mhm.
want to go for research assistantships,
Okay.
and if you just want to go for teaching assistantships, just focus on getting good grades.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Coming to the last question, so like, what is the procedure of getting internships and placements? So you have gone through the whole process of internship and placements, I guess. So what is the process? Like, how is it different from the process of after doing a BTech? So like, what was that?
Sure. So it's very different from the process we have in India. So like during our bachelor's at D2, so we used to get companies on campus in India. So there's a company coming every day on campus. You have to just compete with your fellow batchmates for placement, but it doesn't work like this here.
Okay.
In the States, companies come to the campus mostly during the career fair, but in addition, they also come for talks throughout the year.
Okay.
So during that time, they will be showcasing what technologies they are working on, and they will be just collecting your resumes. So and they just take your resumes during that time, and after that, they will be giving you a call. So
Okay.
like this is one of the ways that they select the people, and the other ways is directly applying through the like the student portals of various companies. So they
Okay.
have their respective university portals, which have positions for the student roles,
Okay.
and you apply directly through their website, and that's like US wide. So anyone from any university can apply, and then they shortlist the resume, and then they go ahead with the next rounds. Like if there's an internship, they might be like going with less number of rounds. With full time roles, they obviously will go ahead with much more rounds.
Okay.
So yeah, so like Unlike India, companies don't usually recruit on campus. Like very few companies would do that, but not like all of them.
Okay, so like the process is more or less off campus. Like I won't say on
Yeah.
campus.
It's completely off
Yeah.
campus.
So in the career fair, like the companies are coming and they are just showcasing what all positions are open and what all tech stack they are working on, right?
Yeah. So it's basically a way to interact with the company representatives. It's
Okay.
a way to know that if this company is fit, like if this is a company which I'm looking for, like if this company fits into what kind of culture I'm looking for, what kind of a work life balance I'm looking for. So you basically get to directly interact with them without being on the pressure of like an interview.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
it's just a casual conversation between the SDs there who are working or the HR there. So
Okay.
it's a very casual conversation, and then they get to the actual thing, the interviews after that.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's very similar. Like you'll get a online assessment after your resume gets shortlisted, and then after that the interviews begin basically.
Okay. Okay. All right. I guess these were the questions, Mayank. So, do you have any final suggestions for the people? Like, suppose someone is trying to get an admission during this part of the year. So, any final suggestions and common mistakes that people usually do, what they definitely should be avoiding?
Sure. So if people are targeting fall 2023, I think fall 2022 is already gone. Yeah.
Mhm.
So fall 2023, you should start immediately with your GRE, your TOEFLs. Prepare for like 2 months. Give it as soon as possible and try to get your scores at least around 320 plus. And 325 is considered a good safe score for GRE. And in your TOEFLs, try to get 105 plus, and 110 above is cherry on the cake. And also, if you are in your last semester, try to boost your GPA as much as possible. And yeah, start writing your SOPs and start making good relations with your professors so that they help you getting good LORs.
Okay.
And if you have some time during your summers, go for a good internship at one of the IITs or triple IITs or anywhere which you find that a professor is working on a good research. And like don't be afraid if you are like financially you have some issues. Because like if you once you start your job and like it's very easy to recover whatever you have like paid.
Correct.
And like if you get a decent amount of job, like you'll obviously be able to repay your loans within like 6 months, I would say.
Okay.
So don't be worried about that. You have like you are like coming to a safe place. No need to worry about that then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we can wrap this up then. So, if people have any further questions, so I will add your LinkedIn profile in the description, and they can, I guess, ping you directly.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Chalo, ठीक है. Like I guess we can wrap it up, and thank you, Mayank, for having.
Thank you, Rahul.